All right. Well, hello everyone. Hopefully you can hear me okay. My my headphones broke. So hopefully you guys won't be getting like too much echo or whatever for the game. Um I tried to fix them and they broke worse. So not too good. But hi there. And we're going to get started. We're going to do some Honkai Star Rail, just playing around with it, doing dailies, things like that. And then we'll jump over to Genshin, where we'll be doing more exploring Natlin, stuff like that. Okay, so let me game so you can get Gaucho in all his glory. I think I actually might go for a different artifact set or relic set for him, because the other day when we got to play him, he had a different set than the one I have on him currently. Cause like I have this one on here. And then the other one I saw was like this one, I think it was. On the other hand, it does say that this one is the best one. Maybe I will leave it that way. It's hard for with these builds. I guess we're just gonna do some more pre-farming for Fei Xiao because I do have enough to get her. The current plan with this is that we're going to roll for Fei Xiao next Wednesday. And then there is a rumor that Sunday might be in 2.7, maybe. And if he is, then I'll be able to take what I have saved up for him, plus the 80 that I'll be getting at least before that patch, and be able to get him guaranteed. So that's the current plan. I'm not really interested in Rappa. I mean, so she's fine and everything, and it would be cool to have another Galaxy Ranger. However, and since the event's going on here,
I have heard that Mr. Jiao Cho has a fascinating gaze.
a little bit. Just sneeze. Anyway, that's. Oh, shoot. I forgot. I have it set up on. Oh, if you click off of the window, it mutes itself. I'll have to fix that when we get back, because I have to click over to OBS sometimes, and I don't want it to accidentally mute on you guys. I keep forgetting to turn that thing back on. But anyway. But yeah, the idea is to roll for Fei Xiao, hopefully get Fei Xiao and Moza, skip 2.6. So, Yeah, skip point 2.6. And then by the time 2.7 comes around...
Since you're already here, why not have a meal
Excuse me.
before we leave?
By the time 2.7 comes around, then we should end up having enough for Sunday if he's coming. It's kind of weird, to be honest. I mean, Sunday isn't exactly like the Baizu of Honkai Star Rail, but he is kind of a,
Bust,
how you put it?
or maybe I'll take it all.
People were assuming we were gonna get him in like the patch that was kind of like wrapping up Penacony. But then it's like, oh, we did Penacony, and then for 2 patches we're jumping back to I almost said Leeway, back to the Lawfu for 2 patches, and then suddenly, oh no, we're going back,
Show no mercy.
apparently to Penacony, and then we're gonna move on to the new place. So I don't know what's going on.
The dead return.
No dirty. Watch your head. Bust, or maybe I'll take it all.
All I know is that we are currently in the Lawfu. We're gonna be in the Lawfu for 2.5, and then I don't know what's gonna happen after that.
Since you're already here, why not have a meal before we leave?
Conflict is pitiless. Show no mercy. The dead return.
But thank you for the 4 followers who followed. From the last time I streamed, I looked over and it said I had 74 followers. I was like, oh, that's 4 more than before. So thank you so much for following me. I hope you enjoy my content. I upload it onto YouTube afterwards because Twitch deletes it after 1 week now. To be honest, I wish that he kept it at the 2 weeks because it makes it so that even if you don't stream for 2 weeks for whatever reason, you still have videos up, so it looks so you're active. So it seems, or it looks like you're active. When it's only 1 week, it's basically you gotta stream at least once a week, so that you have something up there.
Here, the thunder.
More seasoning. Since you're already here, why not have a meal before we leave?
Kind of funny too, because originally I wasn't gonna roll for Venturine, but he's so stinking useful. It was also kind of funny because what happened was I was saving up for Sunday. I wasn't gonna roll for Acheron or Venturine. But then I saw that Acheron was like, oh, she can just defeat the enemies in the simulated universe. And I was like, oh, that'll be so helpful because, you know, I want to do the simulated universe to get the rewards, but it takes a while. And with Acheron basically taking out majority of the battles, it speeds up the whole thing. So I was like, oh, I really want to get her. So I got her. And then I kept doing like 10 rolls on Adventurine as his banner progressed. And I think it was like his banner was going to disappear in like 2 or 3 days. And I was like, okay, let me do one more 10 roll. And I did. And he came home. So I was just like, thank you, Adventurine. Thank you for being nice to me.
It's on me.
I mean, it's like before Venturine, I think the best shielder was Gepard, and now it's like you try to compare the two of them. It's like, nope, Venturine is like so much better because his whole thing, his defense happens on a skill instead of a ultimate. So it's easier for him to replenish the
Since you're
shield.
already
Also,
here,
too, the shield is
why not have a
very
meal before you leave?
solid and big. Gepard's is like maybe half, maybe a quarter. I mean, I love Gepard too. He's such a nice guy. He kind of reminds me a little bit of like Gaiwin
Back.
from Fate Grand Order, or also maybe a tiny bit of Laios. They have that same kind of like blonde men in armor type of feel. Okay, that's done with that. Let's see. I'm gonna keep doing this through on something else. Exit out of this. I wanted to do that so that I got the double words, but I'm also thinking about doing some whatchamacallit, relic farming for Fei Xiao and also Moza, because I'm going for Fei Xiao, but Moza's also on her banner, so I'm really hoping that I get at least one copy of him. If I don't, I'm gonna be like, how did I get Fei Xiao without getting a copy of Moza? But we'll have to see. Let me check real quick. Wait, maybe I have. Sure, I had a picture for what was good on Fei Xiao. Also, hello to the person who came in and is lurking. We're just doing some Honkai Star Rail, and then we're gonna move on to Genshin, and we're doing dailies and stuff like that. Have that picture. Huh, I must have not saved it. I don't want to start farming the wrong stuff. I know, after the 2.5 live stream, everybody's all worried about their characters. People were like, oh my gosh, Fei Xiao's not gonna die, right? And Jiao Chou's not gonna die, right? And I'm like, oh gosh, I hope not. I don't. It's like if they get rid of another Foxian that I like, I'm gonna be screaming foul, because I'm like, first Ting Yun, and it's like, and now the rest of them. What do you guys have against Foxians? But I'm sure they're gonna be all right. They're 5 stars. That was the one thing is I've noticed that with Honkai Star Rail, it's like they're either kind of doing away with either characters that have not become playable yet, like, for example, Kokulia, or they're only getting rid of 4 stars that are already that they don't really need to advertise. Because those characters are going to get put on the standard banner anyway. Okay, so they have these on her. Wind soaring Valorous. This makes sense. I think even this helmet was in Fei Xiao's recent animation, because she was talking about saying goodbye to the general that had helped her. So yeah, so it's this one. The break game. It's kind of interesting too, because like when I have a Venturina in the party, I technically don't need a healer. However, if a Venturine happens to ever fail, or it's like, oh, they get attacked by, you know, an enemy number of times and it breaks his shield and everything, and he doesn't have time to get it back up for a character, they get injured, and then it's like, okay, they're gold light. They get injured, and then it's like, okay, now we're doomed. Oh, thank you for the new follow, whoever followed. I just saw it pop up to 75 followers. So thank you very much. Okie dokie. Oh. Figure. I used to be using what is it? Twitch stream deck, and then they're like, oh, it's not gonna work anymore, so hop over to OBS, and I'm still kind of learning OBS, so. But let's take a look into this and see what we get. That looks so pretty. Alright, here we go.
Since you're already here, why not have a meal before you leave? Get back. No dirt. Oh.
Conflict is pitiless. Show no mercy.
More seasoned.
Nothing major. Here is thunder.
Watch your head.
I have to say, these like mannequin guys with the weird heads and stuff, they're very creepy.
Or maybe I'll take it off.
If they were a Genshin enemy,
More heat.
you know, and like you'd have to get up close and personal to them as you
Why
fought
not
them,
have a meal before you leave?
I'd be like, holy cow, what is this?
Dead return.
You know, this is like, what is it, Little Nightmares, or that one game where you're a kid and you're running around and everybody else is like a zombie.
Season. It's just a tiny massage.
Also,
Is thunder.
Once Human that's come out has a lot of characters like that, where they have like bodies of people and then like their heads are briefcases or whatever. This kind of just reminds me of the same idea. We didn't really get anything we needed. One more time. This is the real end game, is farming for relics.
Watch your head.
Considering I've never done this one before,
The dead return.
at some point it's like any relic is a good relic when you don't have any of it.
A little more heat. Why not have a meal before you leave?
Here is thunder. Conflict is pitiless. Show no mercy.
You know, kind of a funny thing, when Jing Yuan first came out, I remember hearing somebody say that, oh, Jing Yuan is good, but he relies too much on the Lightning Lord to do damage. And I heard them say that, and I thought to myself, the Lightning Lord is part of Jing Yuan's kit. That's the whole idea.
Why not have a meal?
I mean, maybe they were talking about like in story lore, or like they wanted him personally to do more damage and not rely on, you know, the Lightning Lord and stuff like that, which, you know, I can understand. I just found it kind of funny that the way that it got put. Oh my god. Yep. Okay. So HP. Defense. I think for her Fei Xiao, she needs what? Yeah, she needs like crit damage. But something's better than nothing, right? But anyway, but I just thought it was kind of funny on the idea that it's like
Here is thunder. Show no mercy.
it's like saying, oh, Lucha is good, but he relies too much on his coffin to do damage. I'm like, wait, what? Like he's using it, it's a tool, you know? Which I'm still kind of surprised on this different side note. I'm still kind of surprised of why we don't know what's in there yet. But then again, if they're kind of doing the long thing with Lucha, like they did with Otto, Lucha's gonna be one of those characters where it's like, he pops up, we learn a little bit more about what he's doing, what his plan is, and then we leave him and go on and do a bunch of other stuff, and then come back to him.
Was that it? Show no mercy.
Bust. Or maybe I'll take it all. Watch your head. More season. Since you're already here, why not have a meal before you leave?
I just thought it was kind of funny though too, because it's like
Is pitiless.
Auto Apocalypse has gone from being a man in the Hoyoverse, I'm gonna say lore,
Is thunder.
to being a archetype. In the sense that not only do you have, here's a helmet. Okay, this isn't too bad, I guess. That. It's- Because like you have, if you look at Honkai Impact 3rd, right, you have the Auto Apocalypse, right? And then you have the other kind of versions of him,
Is pitiless.
you know, that you'll have like his smaller, I think it was like Moriarty, he has one there. Void Archives is kind of Auto, but not really. He's his own thing, but he picks up so much stuff from Auto, he acts like Otto, and he also took over one of his Solium clones and basically redesigned it to look the way he wanted it to. So he stole one of Otto's bodies that he had. They have that whole thing. You also, of course, have all the different Autos and all the different parallel universes they have in that game. Sometimes alive and sometimes dead, depending on the time period you go into for that whole thing. Then you go into Genshin, where you have Ayato, and Ayato, some people are like, oh no, he's not really Auto, blah blah blah, and he definitely doesn't really look like Auto. I mean, he is, in the sense, a well-dressed gentleman, and stuff like that. But he also does have the blue hair versus the typical blonde and for auto people or auto-like characters. But the thing is, I think with Ayato, his big thing. Let's see what we get here. Okay, so it's an attack piece. Couple of these. Or I kind of want to at least get some stuff for her. And the only other thing I can really do for her is to pre-farm more of her race materials. Because I don't think her boss or her weekly boss is available. But you can only do that 3 times, and I've already done it this week, and I can't get to her regular boss. And I'm pretty sure I have enough talent books and stuff for her. So,
Or maybe I'll take
or not talent books, EXP books. EXP books. So we could just do this for a little bit. But anyway, so with Ayato, it's like, Ayato is a character where he is like auto
It's on me.
cunning and clever, like mentally auto, but he's an auto if bad stuff hadn't happened yet, or if he had been able to prevent some of it. Like, for example, with the Yato, both of his parents die, and he has to rise up to protect Ayaka and Toma. And he is like very vicious. He is the head of like a ninja group. He has been known for manipulating his opponents, and like people were talking about like, oh, he's so young, he's just gonna get run over by the rest of the group, and the Kamisatos will lose control of the commission. And another attack. Like, they'll lose control of the commission, and then probably Ayato and his sister and Tomo would just kind of get disappeared by the rest of the group, so that they could re-rise back up again and stuff, which would be, you know, really terrifying. And so he had to rise to the level of basically cunning that Otto has been known for to protect himself, Ayaka, and Toma. The thing is with Otto, is that Otto lost Callan. And it is what led him kind of down the path of for darkness and evil. With Ayato, because he hasn't lost Ayaka or Toma, he hasn't had to take that step. But I believe there's even a piece in like Ayato's character story write-ups or his lines or something, where he says something along the lines of, if anything was to happen to Ayaka or Toma, he would fight the Raiden Shogun. You know, like he would be willing to fight her if she had really hurt either anybody he loved.
Why not have a
And
meal?
it's like, this guy's willing to go up against a god. Like, that is pretty extreme, you know? So I think it's like, in that case, Ayato does match up with Otto. Also, to the fact that their voices, that their names kind of sound so similar, and to that they share voice actors. Like Ayato, if you listen to him in Chinese or Japanese, he has Otto's voice.
Watch your head.
Otto, unfortunately, does not have an English voice. However, the English voice for Ayato in Genshin is actually the English voice for Lucha in Honkai Star Rail. And Lucha shares his Japanese and Chinese voiceover with both Ayato and Otto. So it's kind of fitting with the whole thing. To be honest, I think Lucha's actual name is Otto, though, because during one of the stories, I mean, on top of the fact that he looks exactly like Otto, and that he uses the term Lucha, which is a version of Raksha, which is from
Bust.
the comics, I believe,
maybe
for
we'll take
Honkai
it
Impact Third, where Otto was traveling around China and he took the name Raksha, or I think that's how you say it, which is a kind of like, oh, the name of a foreigner.
Dead return!
When he met up with Su Shang and stuff like that. So you have that whole situation going. But also it's like,
Show no mercy.
for Lucha, he mentions that, oh, in the Zansho Alliance books, he gave his name as Lucha. So it's because his real name apparently is a mouthful. And even like Jing Yuan mentions about like his Lucha's real name. So I'm like, yeah, chances are his name is actually Auto Apocalypse. But for a
Have a meal before you.
Can't tie around it. The Ensho native to say that, they're not used to such a thing, so it's harder for them to say. It's kind of like how Gwen Knifin, like she said that when she got to the Longfu, her real name is Guinevere. But it was hard for people to say and to remember because they're not used to that type of the language. So she asked her friend, could you help me come up with a Dansho name for the Longfu? And she said, oh, she basically tweaked it, whatever, and she said, oh, Gwen Knifin. This is really kind of funny because it's like, this is a wolf looking, and Fei Xiao has that whole thing with the moon madness.
Show no
But
mercy.
anyway, apparently too, it's interesting, Gwen Knifin has a brother named Lancelot, and he apparently is a Knight of Beauty.
Why not have a
And
meal
so
before
I would be really thrilled if we got more Knights of Beauty. Because, I mean, I love Argenti. He's my main. And, you know, and everything. But it would be so nice if he had friends. If he had other Knights of Beauty friends that became playable characters. Considering that other Knights of Beauty we've heard of is the one that was Argenti's friend and turned into a monster apparently, and then was slain.
Watch your head.
And then you have the one-armed knight, which I think is supposed to be a reference to Bedivere from King Arthur, or King Arthur's court and everything, because Bedivere was a one-armed knight.
Why not have a meal?
And one of the parts is when Argenti shows up on your ship, you talk to him, he mentions about how he just heard news that the one-armed knight has died, and he feels really bad about it. And basically that he had
Dead return!
met that knight while in passing and everything, and they talked to each other and stuff, so he knew that guy, and he's gone now, and I'm like, that's really sad.
Here.
Poor Argenti! Apparently there's not many Knights of Beauty left anyway, so on top of all that other stuff. This one's very good, it's got some nice crit rate on it.
No dirty tricks.
But it would be cool. I mean, it also it makes sense too, because like we had Boot Hill, who was the only like real Galaxy Ranger,
Why not have a
and now
meal?
we're getting another playable Galaxy Ranger. So in that case, it's kind of like, oh, you had a Knight of Beauty. He's like, you could have more Knights of Beauty. Considering that Argenti isn't the only one. There could be a whole thing going on though on the whole. They might want him to basically kind of be the only representation because of the idea that eventually he will be completely alone, which is really, really sad. Poor Argenti. He's such a good guy, and he has such a
It's pitiless.
difficult and somewhat worrisome backstory.
Or maybe I'll take
Because
it
for
off.
those of you guys who don't know, because I main him, so I don't have him on my party right now because none of these guys are weak against physical. But
Season. Since you're already
Argenti's
here, why not
backstory
have a meal before the
is that basically he grew up on a war-torn planet. He is an orphan, and he was scrounging around, pretty much living more or less underground because where he was living was constantly getting shelled and bombed, which is really, really sad.
Conflict is pitiless.
He eventually ends up meeting up with his master, or the guy who kind of semi-takes him in and starts teaching him about the path of beauty and Adrilla, and I think this is the second HP one we've gotten. Alright, one more time.
Since you're already here, why not have a meal before you leave?
But anyway, but he goes and he meets up with this guy who becomes his master, and he teaches him all about the path of beauty and Adrilla and being a knight of beauty and stuff like that. And so, Argenti trains under him. Unfortunately, there's this kind of weird part
Or maybe
where
I'll take it off.
apparently the master kind of
A little more heat.
either he went crazy or he walked her in the path of beauty, and Argenti took that as needing to right a wrong and basically fought the guy and killed him. So I don't know whether or not it was the master went crazy and Argenti was doing self defense, or if it was a Argenti is so blind that he basically made that judgment call, even though he shouldn't have and got rid of his own master, which obviously would have hurt really, really badly on either case, because of the fact that, you know, his master was like the only person who was there for him.
Why not have a meal before you leave?
There's also a section in there, I think, right before Argenti meets up with his master, that he finds this little ocarina when he is on the verge of basically being so miserable he just wants to give up and just perish. But he finds the ocarina and he blows into it and he can't play it at all. Oh, of course. Well, maybe next time. Or we could wait home. Not using it for anything else right now. But he basically finds this little ocarina and he can't play it for beans. But the sound gives him
Since you're
a...
already here, why not have a meal before you leave?
It gives him enough hope to keep going. And then after that, he ends up meeting up with his master, doing all that stuff. And then after the master, I guess, is gone, he joins the Knights of Beauty and starts doing his whole thing. He ends up traveling with one of the other knights for a while and possibly falling in love. It kind of depends on your view of it, whether they are like, you know, soulmates in the whole lover sense, or just like, oh, they're soulmates and they're really, really good friends. But they end up having to separate for a while, and by the time they rejoin back up, Argenti has found out that his friend has pretty much gone insane and has turned into a monster. Which again, the question is whether, we're not sure whether or not Argenti, or whether the knight really did turn into a monster, or if Argenti is only seeing him as a monster or describing him as a monster. But, and again, we don't know whether or not it was a self-defense type of thing, and Argenti ended up slaying his old friend because the old friend attacked him, or whether or not it was a battle and Argenti slayed him. But that, of course, also hurt really, really badly for Argenti, because, I mean, you got this guy who is either your lover or your best friend, and now he's gone. And that's a real bummer. So you have that whole thing. He does run into Boot Hill at some point before the story starts. Well, at least we're getting enough attack hands. Or he runs into Boot Hill when we don't know about it. Because when they meet up in Penacony, Argenti mentions about
The dead return!
meeting up with Boot Hill again, I think it was. So they have passed by each other before. So you have that whole bit.
No dirty trick. A little more heat.
But you have that whole part too. So, you know,
Or maybe I'll take it
Argenti
off.
is kind of in a way like Boot Hill in the sense that both of them come across as like, yes, we're, you know, we are happy and well-adjusted and you know, noble and so on and so forth, right? And then you start looking at their backstories and you're like, oh my gosh, these guys are acting this way because they are actually really in bad situations. I mean, Boot Hill has a backstory where he basically isn't living for himself anymore, that he is living for revenge. And that it's kind of like implied that when he finally gets his revenge for his family and his daughter and his friends, he will like cease to live. He'll just shut himself down because all he's living for right now is his revenge.
Why not have a meal before?
I believe I remember, because I have him too. I remember reading in his backstory that the reason why he is a, you know, robot, Pete's sake, what is it getting all these attack ones? Like that's great, but we kind of need crit damage. Oh well. I think we do have some decent. Want somebody to hold on to them so I don't lose. It's still so weird, the idea that we're gonna see Luca in the next patch. I'm like Sampo I can understand because apparently there's a whole thing with Sampo about how he's technically not from Belobog, that he's from another planet and somehow he got onto Belobog even through the storm and has been hanging out, and then once the storm was over he could travel over. But Luca coming from Belobog, like, considering that those people hadn't even known about space travel or anything else like that, that must be quite a jump. I mean, who told this boy, like, hey, you want to come and go get on a giant spaceship to do a fighting competition in space when they didn't even have like the thought of space exploration before. That is quite a. That's so weird. I didn't know Ratio was the hunt. Huh.
Life is as something is. Do you want to leave?
I guess let's just put it on hook. Normally, I like to match it up with element and stuff like that, but for right now, So, got one helmet. Crit rate. Attack, HP. Oh, we want crit damage for this one, so won't raise up one of those. These are both HP. Really want attack percent or even like speed. What's the one for this? They have. No, it's not that. It's very pretty though. I was trying to squint at it. I was like, I was looking at the picture and I was like, okay, which one of these orbs is the correct one? Like, oh, it's these. All right, so we're looking for, let's see if they have. Ah, there's one. That one on second. One is. That's also in. Oh, and these. Trying to figure out the best one. One I have on her is probably better. Although we could probably give this one. No, this one. A few things and see what happens. See if it gets like a crit rate or whatever. This one should be attack percent. This one has a speed as well. Anyway, so the point is, it's like you're thinking to yourself like, oh, they're such happy, they're so noble, they're so, and it's like they are. However, they are also very depressed. Kind of curious what down here. Okay, he gives it effect res. Crit rate. Yeah. Crit rate went up. Couldn't speak. My tongue got kind of stuck. Crit rate. Blah, blah, blah. The HP is 666. I mean, she is going to be, like, kind of part beast or whatever, but... Oh... We need to get a crit damage and a attack for this, but... Crit rate's only 30%, so that's pretty good. I can't put, like, well... I guess I could technically, but... For the hunt. So they said that this one's supposed to be really good on her. So I might borrow this one from Boot Hill and give him a different one. I also have the Hanya one. Impose one. Can. I mean, also, it made me so mad the other day. Or, I should say, with me and Honkai Star Rail, I kind of have this... It's not a love-hate relationship, it's more of a... I'll be playing it, and I'll be really into it, and then something will happen, and I'll get really upset. And so I won't play it for a few weeks. And then I'll come back, and I'll start playing it again. One of the things was that I was already having a hard kind of time with it. I think they had killed Ting Yun. I think it was. And I was really upset about it because Ting Yun was like one of my favorite characters. And she just died in front of us. And the only like wrap up was, oh yes, let's be more sad about it. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I felt really bad. And I was already feeling bad. And then I think it was like Gwenifin came out, and I got her, and I tried to put on one of the light cones that has her face on it. Because as you could kind of tell from here, I like matching the light cones up with people's faces, right? Or the and stuff like that. If I have them, right? So like, for example, here's Runmei has hers, Ting Yun has hers, Kafka has hers, so on and so forth. However, if you look at Gwenifin's, you have this one, which is the hunt, and then there's another one down here, right here, which is from the event, and it's abundance. Gwenifin is here, and she's Nihility. So neither of those light cones that have her face on them actually can work on her. I mean, I think even if you tried to attach them, you know, it's like the effects, so like this part wouldn't actually work. That was the other thing too that happened. I rolled this one. And I was like, oh, wouldn't that be nice to have it for March 7th? It would be so cute. March 7th can't use it. It's for What is it? Preservation. Ability. Oh, harmony. It's for harmony. And March 7th is not a harmony character when she is in her whatchamacallit. In her Lawfu hunt outfit. She's the hunt. So I'm just kind of like, holy cow. I can't win. Okay. Yeah. And then of course here we have what is on March? Knifin.
Let me see.
It's a very pretty card though. So it will work nicely for anybody who is a harmony that'll benefit from it. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, wait a minute. Like, I have this one for the of Sunday and Robin, but neither of them I don't think are going to use them because this is a preservation. Robin is harmony. And I believe it's also implied that Sunday might be harmony too. But we're not entirely sure. People are kind of on the fence about it because it's sort of like, wait, if he's harmony, then why... why would he be harmony? If you're going from like lore reasons. But sometimes the lore doesn't really make sense with the kids. It's like with Jiao Cho. He talks all about how he's a healer. He's a healer. He's not just a cook. He's a healer. And then his kit comes out and he doesn't heal at all. He is a like debuffer, adding DOTs onto stuff. It is still a super cute card, though. Thing is, you've played for a while when you end up running into you have 2 copies of the same type of weapon, but your first copy is already like fully leveled up to or like superimposed or raised or whatever to the 5th level. Yeah, see, like this one. It's like, oh, I'm fully 5 leveled up, and so I can use this one or basically treat it as just another copy of the weapon, which actually works out well if you have characters who are sort of like, oh, they are, you know, these two characters can really benefit from having this light cone or this weapon or whatever. But you only had one. So you didn't get, so you couldn't give it to both, but now you do have both. Or now you do have two, so. Let's see, and where is... Nice about these is this, since the pictures are so different, you can kind of tell at a glance what they are instead of being like, okay, which one is this? That is... I guess if I give her this one, I have to give Boot Hill something else. What other hunt of? I'll have to look up. I'm not planning on rolling for her light cone because I want to make sure I have enough for Sunday if when he shows up. But the only ones I usually roll their light cone slash weapons for are the ones that either I got really lucky when I was rolling on the banner, or they're like my main or one of my muses or that type of thing. And I usually only go for that light cone or the weapon after after they're on their rerun. According to the Boot Hill builds, this one, Yangqing's 5-star, and this one are apparently good on Boot Hill. But these two are being used, so... We'll have to check that out later. Honestly, you could end up having it where after I look it up, it'll be like, oh no, her best light cone is something different, and that's not that one. So I'm like, okay. Whichever. have to do this too, but for this week. But I think I'll do it later. I kind of want to get up over to Genshin. All right. So got that. So I currently have 190. That is definitely going to guarantee me a Fei Shao, and hopefully, well, actually, the plan is I'm going to roll for Fei Shao, and whatever she leaves me left with, I'm going to use to try to roll on Robin. So if she comes home and I win the 50-50, what's my pity? Xiao Cho was kind of mean to me. Well, maybe not super mean. What was his thing? I lost the 50-50 on his banner before. Currently my pity is 6. So not very high. But 6. But here's Jiao Cho, and then let's see. He took me 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 5, 70, 75, 80. Yeah. 83. After I lost the 50-50 and got Himiko, it's he waited to 83, so he was kind of mean to me. But at least it was a point that I ended up having enough left over to make sure I could get up to a guaranteed Fei Shao after that. So that's good at least. Let's see, when did Himiko show up? That's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 5, 73. So Himiko technically came in softish pity, and Yacho wanted me to work for him. So, but hey, at least he came home. That was the important part. This is why I always say save up 180, because you never know what's gonna happen. I know there's some people who are like, oh, you could save up to 140 and it'll be fine. You'll get it. You usually don't have to go to 90 each time for the characters and stuff like that. And while it's true, I also feel that I would be really, really upset if I got that close and basically missed them by 20 pulls. Because you think about it, if you save up to 140 and you don't get the character, that's still a 40 ticket difference. One second, I got to adjust here. Excuse me. That's still a 40 ticket difference between pulling all that and then getting them guaranteed no matter how bad your luck is. And since you only have about 20 days for the banner, that means that even if you're getting a pull a day, you could actually miss out on that character by 20 tickets. And it's like, spending 160 tickets and not getting the character you want is really sad. It's like, I would weep for people who went through all that. So I just do the whole, yes, I'm going to save up 180. Oh, thank you for the follow, whoever just popped in. I'm glad you like my content. Oh, let's see. What was I talking about? Anyway, but yeah, you say is for my word of advice as a person who's been playing since launch for both Genshin and Honkai Star Rail, save up your 180. If you have that in your pocket, then you won't have to cry and be miserable when you lose to 50-50, because you will guarantee to get him. It's kind of interesting because it takes away the pain, but it doesn't take away the, like, ooh, when are they going to show up? When's going to happen? Am I going to win the 50-50? What 4 stars am I going to get? It doesn't take away that excitement. It just takes away the pain at the end in case they don't come home right away, which is good. But the idea is that I'm going to roll for Fei Xiao, and then if I have any extra after that, I'm going to drop it on Robin to see if I can get her to come home. Because I wanted to roll for her before, but I didn't because I figured Sunday would be close behind her, and then he wasn't. And then her banner was gone, and then I didn't even know it was going to rerun until the live stream. Was that last Friday? Last Friday. I didn't even know she was going to rerun. So when I saw her, I was like, oh, I wanted to rerun. I wanted to roll for her on a rerun, but now she's next to Fei Xiao, who I also want. So with any luck, crossing my fingers, Fei Xiao will be nicer to me than Zhao Cho, and she will come home within 90 pulls, and then I can use the other rest of it on Robin. And I'm not going to worry about, oh, what about for 2.5 or 2.6? Because no, sorry, 2.6 is just Rappa. I'm not going to worry about that because, one, I'm not thrilled with Rappa. Or, not that I'm not thrilled with her, I should reword that. I think she's a good character. I actually think her design is fine and everything. But if Sunday actually does show up in 2.7, I'm going for him. He is one of the characters that I'm like, come here, sir. At some point, I'm going to be kind of almost like, okay, Fei Xiao, you come here, join up with Zhao Cho and Moza, so you guys will be happy. And then, Robin, we need your help. I need you to help me coax Sunday to come home. And so she'll show up, hopefully. But again, we'll have to see how that works out. I will be streaming that on Wednesday. I don't know what time on Wednesday, but I will be streaming it. So we'll have to see if I get Fei Xiao and Robin or just Fei Xiao. And the thing is, too, is the reason why I can do that, even though if Sunday isn't 2.7, is because I have this actually saved up right here. Okay, and I've been saving this up for Sunday, so I have 100 here, and then if I roll on the Fei Xiao banner but then don't roll anymore, or at least not any more that I can't get covered, then I will basically be getting 40 rolls per, because I buy the Welcome Moon, or buy the not as Welcome Moon, it's called the Express Supply Pass. I think of it as Welcome Moon because that was the first one I ever kind of bought for the whole, $5. But basically, I'll be able to calculate it out in that I'm going to get 40 pulls during 2.5, and I will get at least 40 pulls during 2.6. And then when 2.7 drops, assuming that Sunday is in there and that he'll be in the first phase, then we end up having some really nice, 100 here, 80 that you saved up, here you go. In fact, I probably actually can do another 10 roll on Robin's banner during 2.5 because we're going to be getting that. So it's going to be for that one and for 2.6 because we're going to be getting the free 10 pull bit that you collect from the events, which I think it's here anymore. But you guys know what I mean. It's that thing where it has the picture of the character on the one side, and then there's a, oh, here, pick up the tickets as you log in. So, but we'll have to see how that whole thing. It's gonna be interesting, I will say, because like I said, I'm guaranteed to get Fei Xiao, and I will be rolling until I get her. However, I really also do want Robin because I do like the how did you say it? Halovians? I think they're really cool. I love their little head wings and the wings on their lower backs. It's kind of, they're really cool because they are basically, where is it? They are angel characters, but they are very unique in that they're not just the typical, okay, they're, you know, they got halos. You know, like, oh, they got halos and then they got wings on their backs and that's it. You know, they are more special. Like you just look at Robin, for example, like she has the halo, but it's like halos with flowers on it, which is really pretty. And then of course she has her wings and on her head. And then you have these pits here, which are her wings on her body, which a lot of people didn't notice right away. They were like, oh, what a pretty dress. And then people started realizing, wait a minute, she's got her wings coming out from her back wrapped around her middle. And then they also noticed the same thing with Sunday. Sunday also has wings, but he keeps his height hidden under his coat. It looks like the bottom piece of a vest, but it's not. It's actually darker wings. So that's the thing was like with me, like if you were to, I'm gonna say put down like animal, or not animal characters, but like people with animal attributes in front of me, the first ones I'd always pick would be the foxes, and the next ones right kind of like next to them would be any bird like characters, because I really like birds. So like I said, I really wish I had rolled for Robin back in the day because I really did want her. And I think I did drop a couple of 10 pulls on her and she didn't come home, but I really hope she does because whatchamacallit? Because I really want her, and I only didn't roll her before because I thought that Sunday was going to be coming like right after, or if not right after, but like her patch. And then, what does it say when she... I think it says when she out. But whenever her banner was, I don't remember exactly, but whenever her banner was, I figured that it would be like, oh, her banner's come out of here, and then maybe we'll have another patch, and then Sunday's banner will come out before we leave Penacony. And then we kind of left Penacony, and we didn't get him. So I'm like, wait a minute. This whole thing is kind of weird. I don't know exactly why we went back to the Luofu, like, right now. Because to me, it kind of seems like since the one character is a Galaxy Ranger and she's hanging out in Penacony, that means that we were in Penacony for 2.0, 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3. And then we went to Luofu for 2.4 and 2.5, and now in 2.6, and I guess 2.7, we're going back to Penacony again. Which, I mean, I guess that's not that different because, like, with Genshin, we tend to have the, whatchamacallit? The Lantern Rite, right? Lantern Rites happen during Chinese New Year for, in like January, February, depending on how the calendars match up. And go back. Depending on how the calendars match up. And so that's why we have Lantern, right? Because it's representing Chinese New Year. But this one, it seems, I don't know, kind of out of the blue to me. Maybe there's something going on in China that I don't know about that's a holiday. This cute Jiaoqiu and Argentia right next to each other. To be honest, from the characters that I'm missing, I think the only ones I'm not, well, I guess the only character, I don't know. It's hard to say, you know, when I'm kind of like, which is the characters I don't want. It's like, technically, I do kind of want all of them, but obviously I'm not going to do that because I'm not a whale. And I don't have the funds for it. But I think if I was to put them in like a tier ranking list of, oh, who do you want most out of the ones you don't have, I would definitely say Robin's first, followed by like Firefly and Black Swan, then characters like Jinglu and Hua Hua, and maybe Topaz, followed by characters like Silverwolf, Sela, Yun Li, followed by Jade, and then Sparkle would be at the bottom, because Sparkle annoyed me in the story. It's like in the end you find out that it's like, oh, the whole thing, she was really just fooling around, and she was, or not fooling around, but she was helping Elio, because Firefly had to go through her quote unquote 3 deaths, and so Elio contacted Sparkle and it was like, hey, could you help us out, and make it so that Firefly doesn't actually die in those 3 deaths. And so Sparkle was like, oh sure. But the problem is we don't find out about that until the whole thing is over. And in that time period, Sparkle becomes across as a tiny little imp lady and frustrated me to no end, because I was like, what are you doing passing around buttons for blowing up the city, and why are you talking like that to Adventurine, start being racist and a bunch of other stuff. And I was just like, you know, she ended up basically kind of teasing the other characters meanly. Like the whole thing of, after Robin is apparently killed, she goes and tries to tell Sunday that, oh, I could pretend to be Robin for the Charmony Festival. And I'm like, lady, his sister just died. Like, you think he cares about that right now? You know, also too, of course, as we find out what the Charmony Festival actually is, and if Sparkle had pretended to be Robin and did the whole part of the Charming Festival, she'd get herself sacrificed. So good thing she didn't do that. But yeah, that's a whole thing there. So, all right. Let me do my check-in real quick. I like doing the check-in because then you get a little bit extra stuff to help you. Then we'll jump over to Genshin. I was playing Withering Waves and Zenless Zone Zero as well, but Withering Waves kept having problems for me. And it would be one of those things where I'd be playing the game and I'd have my character like run up a cliff to get to the top, and my computer would have them lag or something, and the next thing I knew, they would be shooting off the other side of the cliff and fall and almost falling to their dooms. And it got to a point where it was so frustrating I can't even play the game anymore. Which I'm really sad about because I kind of like that game. And then for Zenless Zone Zero, I was playing it and then I took a break because I was trying to balance other things, and by the time I got back, it was kind of like, oh, you are way behind now, you can't participate in any of the events. And instead of instead of that encouraging me to hurry up and do the chapters, the chapters were so long that even though I was chipping away at them, I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. So I was like, you know what, I give up. Also, too, my rolls were really bad in Zenless Zone Zero. I kept getting the same characters. I'm not gonna load it up to show you guys whatever, because there's no point. But basically, to put it in comparison, if you compare it to like Honkai Star Rail, okay? In my first couple of rolls, or my first like 150, 200 rolls, I think, I would have gotten something like C5 March, C3 Dong Hung, Clara, another character they gave you for free, C2, yeah, how you say your name? This girl, right? And oh no, I'm sorry, maybe not her. Maybe Natasha. Let's do Natasha. So I got C2 Natasha, and like maybe one Lynx. That's what my rolls were like. So I was just like, I wasn't getting any new characters. I was just getting copies of the ones I already had, and it was a really big drain on me, and I felt kind of disappointed. And it kept happening, so I was like, okay, I think I'm done. Oh. Lynx is so cute. She deserves so many head pats. She's a good girl. I actually have the whole family now, so I got Serval, I got Gepard, and I got Lynx. Which is kind of interesting is that the other day, I was looking at the standards for Honkai Star Rail, and I had Bronya was my first standard I got in Honkai Star Rail, and then I believe I got Bailu, and then I got Yang Qing, and I think at some point I got Himiko after that. And then I was only, oh, and I got Clara too. I got Clara on that time too, I think before Himiko. And then I had it between Gepard and Welt. And I hit my 300 on the banner, and so I picked Gepard because he is super cute, and I like the whole blonde man in armor type of vibe he has. They're always such good guys, most of the time. So I picked him, but then I was still missing Welt. And then just the other day I was rolling, and I think it was on the standard banner, I think, and I got Welt. So I was like, "Yay, well, Mr. Welt finally came home." Like he kind of, I guess, figured, "Oh, I'm late." He showed up, so yay. So kind of super cute for that. But okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just hop over to the chat real quick. Go to here, and I'm going to load up Genshin. Yeah, like I said, I don't think they're going to kill off Fei Xiao or Jiao Cho because they're 5 stars, and Honkai Star Rail works off of a single storyline storytelling device. I know because I mentioned this before. I mentioned this before on Twitter, where I said, okay, I don't think Jiao Cho or Fei Xiao are gonna die because they are 5 stars, and if they get killed off, then they can't advertise them anymore, and therefore will end up, losing out money. And somebody said, oh, well, in Honkai Impact 3rd, they've killed off Himiko and Alicia and Vilvi and yada, 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 and all those characters are dead. And while, yes, that is true, in Honkai Impact 3rd, they have 2 storylines going on at the same time. They have the main storyline, and then they have what they call the Captainverse, or at least they did. I don't know what they're doing right now. But they have the Captainverse, and the Captainverse is basically event stuff. And if you have ever played Honkai Impact 3rd, you can kind of see that as long as the character actually ever existed at all in the Honkai Impact 3rd history, there is a chance for them to show up as in an event in the Captainverse. This is why they could have it like, oh, yes, Alicia and Vilvi and the rest of those characters were dead for thousands of years, and now their computer versions or their Elysian Realm versions are gone too. However, that doesn't mean squat when you have the Captainverse, and you can basically go to multiple timelines, multiple different this. Oh. Over. There we go. Oh. Okay, that's fine. Anyway. What was I talking about? I got distracted trying to turn the game on. Oh, about them dying, yeah. And I mean, and so because of that, they can just, as long as that character exists at some point, they can be used in event stuff. So no big deal. However, if you look at like Genshin Impact has 1 storyline, which is why we haven't really had any major already playable 5 stars die, because if they were to kill them off, that's basically they're done. They can't show up in events anymore. They can't show up in any of that stuff because they're just not existing anymore, since we only have the 1 storyline. Now with Honkai Star Rail, it works the same way. There is 1 storyline there, It's wrong button. They only have one storyline there. So, because of that, if they were to kill off any playable 5-star characters, it means that when they are gone, they're gone, and you're never going to have them in the story ever again, which is not good because people will hit their reruns and be like, who are these people? Why do I want them? And then they won't get as much pulling and much money for the banners. Considering a lot of times when banners are rerun, it's because the character is in the patch. Not always. Sometimes they just are because they're good with the current character. Like I think, like right now, for example, Kazuha. Right, Kazuha is not in Natland, but apparently he's a good, versatile unit, and a lot of people are like, "Ooh, he's a must-have." So, which I still wanna, I still meant to roll for him, but unfortunately, with Xylonen coming, or not Xylonen, I keep saying it's Xyl because it starts with it's X. Shilonen, that's how you say her name. Shilonen coming up, and then the Pyro Archon coming up, and then maybe Capitano, and maybe this. I can't risk rolling for Kazuha, which is a shame because he really is a good unit, but I'll have to pass by on him again, which wouldn't be the first time. So I'll get him someday. Let's see. Happened. Guess what? They've gone and lost a bunch of packages. When you're out on the job, focus on delivering things. If you're going down a slope, just keep going as you normally would. Why would you suddenly drop into a slide like you're on vacation? It's free right now. I'll help. Wait. Seeing myself, there'd be no one here to watch over the courier's longhouse. Don't worry, I wouldn't just leave you to find a needle in a haystack. I know the routes those kids usually take, so I can probably guess where those packages went missing. I'll mark out those probable locations thanks in advance. I'm counting on you. No problem, sir. Hey, your letter. To be honest, the only thing that does make me a little worried, though, is when we were doing the Honkai Star Rail, when we were doing the 1 March event, okay, you could do the March event after you finished up the main quest. And in the main quest, Jiao Cho had been captured. He'd been kidnapped, basically, or not kidnapped. Whoop. What? Oh, gee. I did not expect it to suddenly jump me into a cutscene. Uh-oh. Great. They're all over, aren't they? I am, yeah. I was flying over there half a second ago. The concern is that in the Honkai Star Rail, they kind of had a in the past type of event where they had where you did it after the main story quest, and in the main story quest, Jiao Cho had been taken hostage by the Borisin. However, you were able to do the March quest in the idea of like, oh, before any of that happened, Zhao Cho was able to come and help you, and so on. So it makes me a little tiny bit worried that that's what they're gonna do. Go. Oh. Oh. Gotta get back up. Better just warp up there. Um. Sure. No. Now friendship level 3. But anyway. Okay, so I am a little worried about that bit. Because if they start going onto that path of, oh, we'll just jump into the past when the characters were still alive, ha ha ha, type of thing, nobody's gonna be safe. Luckily, from what I've heard, it doesn't seem like Ting Yun is gone forever. But we also have Misha and Gallagher, and a lot of people were upset about them.
Solidify.
Like,
Laid bare.
like with Misha, you can kind of, I guess, rationalize it because it was more of like Misha was just the mental recreation of Mikhail, so and who'd already lived his life and he'd lived a long life and everything like that. You know, so his Misha's disappearing is more of a bittersweet, oh, you can finally rest, it's okay, your wish was fulfilled, you know, and so on and so forth. However, since Misha was kind of like a creation made specifically to tell the Trailblazers and stuff, since Misha was like created just to tell the Nameless about the whole thing and what was going on, the fact that he ceases to be after he did that is kind of sad because like he's still a little kid.
Stabilize.
Here goes! Drilling down!
This is where you fall.
And that's kind of sad because in that sense, Misha like just started to live, you know? So it's like, why, you know, why have him have to go? And then with Gallagher, at first when Gallagher disappeared, I was kind of like, I was sort of bummed because I'm like, oh, he was so hot, you know, in that kind of like scruffy man type of way and everything like that. But I understood that it was like, okay, you know, his job is also done. He can rest now. And technically, he apparently was just a thing created by a history fictionologist anyway. And that's why when he went to meet Sunday in the story, and Sunday was able to pinpoint basically all of the bits of pieces of people that the history fictionologist had copied to make Gallagher, because that's what Sunday said, that he basically, the history fictionologist had wanted to create something to help Mikhail, and so he had looked at the entirety of the Oak family and basically picked up on, how do you put it, can I jump through this? Hey, I actually did. I thought it was gonna be too small. Nope, I did. Oh. No, now I'm in the tree. Wrong leap. Too far. Okay. Alright, I think, was that it for the... Yeah. Talk to Catherine, our stuff. But anyway, but in order to basically get into the Oak family and get to Gopherwood and Sunday and so on, the history fictionologist made Gallagher by basically picking and choosing things he had seen from the other members of the Oak family to make it so that Gallagher was kind of like the perfect representative, and so people like wouldn't suspect him or whatever. Like they would just kind of think that, oh, he's always been here, or he's always supposed to be here.
Thank you for completing today's commissions. Here is your reward.
And so on, right? The thing is that when Gallagher and Sunday meet in the story, Sunday is actually able to pinpoint every instance of, you know, like, your hair is like so-and-so's. This piece of you is like so-and-so. That piece, like, which just goes to show how detail-oriented Sunday is. Apparently, Sunday also has, what do you call it? Obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD, that he has quote unquote gotten a grip on, but I have a bad feeling that he got a grip on it because Gopherwood basically, you know, did not nice things to him for it. But anyway, but getting back to Gallagher, so the whole point is that Gallagher ends up being like the... My ship brain is kind of talking here, but it was the point of like, Gallagher ends up kind of being a really good person for Sunday because he is like very
Something you wish to
familiar
report?
to Sunday.
Go.
And so
You have
in a
my
way, you
undivided
could almost say that
attention.
he's kind of like Sunday's dream guy. Like, emphasis on dream. Unfortunately, though, because once Gallagher's whole thing is over, he's like, okay, I can rest now, and he also disappears. Which we don't know about the history fictionologist that created Gallagher. It's kind of weird because, like, on one point, Gallagher says that he himself is the history fictionologist, but then when his job is done, he leaves. And so it turns into like, well, wait a minute. Is he the history fictionologist? Or is it he just a creation of the history fictionologist? Because if he's just a creation, then and there's like nothing behind him, you know, like there's no like solid person or anything, that means that Gallagher is gone forever. However, if he is the history fictionologist himself, and it was basically just kind of like wearing a like a disguise, then that means that we might run into somebody else who is that history fictionologist and basically is Gallagher, but as a different person. So it's basically supposed to say that maybe not all is lost for Gallagher. Although if we ever do run into him again, he won't be Gallagher. It's kind of like people talk
This
about
realm
Signora.
is truly beginning to
They're like, if Signora ever is ever like resurrected or becomes playable or whatever. It's like, it'll be her, but it also it also won't be her, because it's kind of like if you have Signora and she ends up being reborn, and it's like, okay, now she's a new lady, but she doesn't have her memories or anything. So is she still Signora, or is she Rosalind? I think that's what her name was.
If you ever have any questions about the realm within, you may ask me.
Oh, it's kind of funny. One thing about my teapot realms, okay, the teapot realms, is I've decorated every teapot realm, and for every one, I have it set up where I try to put all the sets that the characters like into the realms. So, for example, go back over here to Tubby just to show you guys,
This
because
realm is truly
maybe you'll find it interesting. If I go to my realm styles, right, like I have the different styles and they represent different regions. So like this one is for Leeway, this one's for Mondstadt, this one of course is in Azuma, Sumeru, Fontaine, etc., etc. I leave this one though. Oh, this one is open for like the kind of like muses / mains that I use, and also in the period between, oh, you have a new region, like for example Natland, but we don't have a Natland teapot yet, so I'm currently just making stuff for Natland in this teapot. But anyway, basically, for example, if you were to go into this teapot, you're going to find all of the sets that the Leeway characters like. So if a new Leeway character comes out, I'll be able to go into this teapot, put them down, and then they will run around to the different sets and be like, oh, I really like this. Here, have some Primo Gems. Oh, I really like this one. Here, have some Primo Gems. And that's what they're going to do. It saves up time and effort, because then it's not like, oh, I got a new character, now I have to get those 2 sets out. I've got to mess up what I created from beforehand, yada yada, right? And I do that for every one. So this one has all the sets that the Leeway characters like. This one has all the Mondstadt sets, Azuma sets, so on and so forth. And currently,
If you ever have it,
as I mentioned with this one includes all the sets that my, I'm gonna say my top 5 characters like, right? And the top 5 characters are, or are going to be once they're playable, Baizu, Pantalone, Ayato, Arlecchino, and Shilonet. Pantalone and Shilonet are not playable yet, and we don't have like the sets for them, but I'll show you what I mean. Like that island down there, that is my main house island. It ends up having sets for the characters that like inside stuff, like Baizu, like both of his sets are in there. Rearranged a little bit.
Staring into
and
my
stuff
eyes
like that.
is ill-advised. I can't promise you'll like what you see.
Rearranged a little bit, but they're in there. I wanted to put Arlecchino's in there, because she likes the, oh, whatchamacallit? The theater one. But I tried to put it in there, and I realized how big that theater piece is. Like, there's a reason why the Fontaine house has that giant empty space in the middle of the building, because it needs to be that big to house the stage. And then like this island right here, I'm using for all of the Natlan stuff. Again, we don't really have any like Natlan sets introduced yet. Nobody wants to talk to me. We don't have any Natlan sets yet, but I'm assuming we'll get them, you know, eventually. It happens the same way as every region. You know, you start getting the furnishing items for the region, then you get the sets, then eventually you end up getting the pot realm, which hopefully they take the route of how they gave us Sumeru and Fontaine's Teapot Realm, which was just, oh, buy this thing from Tuppy and it will unlock it, versus how they did it for Inazuma, which was, ooh, get to the top level of this sacred Sakura and get to the top level of that and you will get the Teapot Realm, which it was kind of a neat thing to get or to work towards, but oh my gosh, considering that Inazuma started off as I like to call them, the Islands of Death, because they were so stinking difficult for me as a player, I was like running around scrounging for those these things, the Electro Sigils. I was scrounging around for these. I was opening up every treasure chest, doing every single thing, trying to get to getting the excuse me. You know, trying to get to the top level so that I could finally get the Teapot Realm, which is very beautiful, by the way. By the time I was finished, I was like, oh my gosh. But anyway, but this is Ayato's stuff. Like, Ayato is a big outside liker. I think it's like every character likes 2 sets, and he likes both of his are outside.
Never mind.
So you have, for example, he likes this part right here, and then he likes that building over there, that whole set there. I set up these little areas here to kind of, one, because this is really kind of cute. It's a little shrine, and then I also put the little kitty cat shrine here. Just super cute. And then because I really like the hot springs, you can kind of see I rearranged it a little bit too. But you can go over here, then walk down this way, hot springs, and I put in more benches, so when your characters sit down, they actually can sit fully in the water versus sitting on the steps. It's just so relaxing seeing the rise up and everything. That was the one thing I was kind of disappointed with in Natland, is we went to the people of the springs, and they all talked about, oh, the hot water, the hot water. The hot water, there's no steam rising from them. They don't look hot. Which I think is like next time they have a survey, I'm going to put in there, could you make the water steam a little bit? Because it doesn't really look hot. It also, I thought, was supposed to heal you. You know, it's like a healing hot springs that actually have a game mechanic, but no, it's just basically the same as every other pool that you can also drown in. If you're... Whoops. What's that doing there? Why is this in the middle of the road? Hang on. Quick adjustment. Did not even notice that was in the middle of the road. We're supposed to be here. Not that they ever turn on. That was the one issue too with this teapot, is it doesn't have a day and night cycle, or technically it does, because if you're inside, like all the lights and stuff will come on, will go on and off, but it doesn't do that outside. So it's like this lamp, for example, will never go on, which is kind of a bummer because they look really pretty when they're all lit up. But this is basically end up being the Inazuma Island. Since I have two of my top 5 characters are not playable yet, we'll have to see what sets that they enjoy. If they have other sets that require more outside room, I might hook some of them up with that island there. Oh. Hi, Dark Overdue. Let's see. Oh, hey. Yeah, I'm like, yes, I did. Wear the hat and keep saying, oh, no. I'm sorry. You lost 50-50 to Mona. Yeah. Ironically, when I was doing there was a Hoyolab wishing thing. C510. Well, I hope you get some good use out of her at least. That's awful. I'm so sorry.
Let's ride!
Yeah, I know that's the thing with the, what was it? It was a Hoyolab wishing event, and it said, oh, put 5.0 and see what character you're gonna get when you roll. So I put in 5.0, and a bunch of, emoji, scrying glasses popped up, and I looked at it, and it was Mona, and I'm like, I do not need any more Monas. I don't have her C6 or anything, but I don't use her at all. And in fact, I actually get kind of peeved at her because she was the one I lost the 50-50 to for when I was rolling for Zhongli on his first banner. And I've not exactly held a grudge against her as a character, but I've always been kind of like, Mona, go away. Like every time she shows up, I think, to be honest, she might be my highest. Where is she? Yeah, I've got a C4 Mona. No, nothing for Dea. I've got too many characters now. I can't scroll across. I think I have a C0 Kaching because I just got her. C1 Dea, C4 Mona. C3 D-Luke. T2 Tignari. T1 Jean. I actually picked Jean for my free 5-star, so that was nice. And I got a C4 Chi-Chi. So she and Mona are currently tied for standard character that I have the most of, and I actually don't use either of them. not most of the time. I think I do use Mona sometimes when I'm fighting the whatchamacallit? The pyro hypostasis, this guy. He's really good at fighting the pyro hypostasis. Oh, you got your first Dea from the hero selector? Nice. Yeah, Dea is a good character. People might complain about her kit and stuff like that, but as a character, she's actually really nice. She's just like, you know, she looks really pretty. Her personality is like really caring, kind of big sister type of tough, cool lady type of character. And also too, I've used her, and I mean, yeah, she's not going to be doing like 100,000k damage or something, but I still think she's decent. Like, as long as you're not like trying to min-max or meta your way to greatness or whatever, she's fine. Oh, you seriously tried to get you're seriously considering getting the C6 Chi from the selector. Yeah, that's true. I think, what is it? C6 Chi, I think, can resurrect people, actually. Yeah. Using Adeptus Art, Preserver of Fortune revives all fallen party members nearby and regenerates 50% of their HP. This effect can only occur once every 15 minutes.
You have my undivided attention.
So yeah, so it basically resurrects everybody with 50 of their HP, which is actually really good. So yeah. So Chi-Chi is really good at that. I think Barbara can also resurrect people. Yeah, she only resurrects one person though. So when Barbara is in the party but not on the field and one of your own party members falls, automatically revives the fallen character, fully restores the revived character's HP to 100%. That can only occur once every 15 minutes. But the thing is, she can't be on the field. So basically it means that if one of your characters falls, she will immediately resurrect them to full health. But she can't be on the field, so it means you can't have your entire party, or the 3 members of your party, conk out, and just have her up there. It won't work. But yeah, she has that. I don't. I don't think Kokomi can resurrect people. Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like she can't resurrect people and Baizu can't resurrect anyone. Which I find kind of interesting, considering that he, did resurrect somebody. Although he did ask Chi-Chi to get things ready for them. So he knows how, it's just not in his kit. That C6 is against the Barber DPS. Yeah. What else was I gonna...
Staring into my eyes is.
To be honest, I wasn't planning on getting Mulani, but between doing the Natlin quest and seeing how much she was part of it and seeing how cute she was, and then I started off her and I had been doing 10 pulls on her banner, to be like, is she gonna come home? She gonna come home? And then I'd start her story quest, and we were talking to her, and I was like, I'm gonna do one more 10 pull, just one more, and then she showed up. So, but look at her little face. Also, I find it funny her pupils are fish. As someone said though, Mulani, I saw a post where someone said that Mulani is just so excited to be alive that they took her to the desert thinking that she would hate it, and instead she basically said, "Wait, we can go sand surfing," and it was just so cute. Her English voice has so much energy. It does. It does. She is just like, I am here. I compared her to Amber, to be honest, in terms of like how Amber has kind of the same. Amber kind of has the same like warm, bubbly type of personality, very welcoming, very welcome to Mondstadt, traveler. I'll help you find your way around. Come with me. Let's go for some sticky honey roast. That type of thing. And it's funny that it's like it's her, and she was our like introductory to Mondstadt, and then you get to Milani, who is a guide and is kind of one of our introductories to Natland. Also, too, they both are medium girl models, and they both have the little things on their heads. The little, like these kind of are like, it's a bow, I guess. So it's kind of interesting. I think, to be honest, Natland, to me, seems very much like not a restart.
What could the children be up to?
I'm so used to being in Fontaine, I forgot, like, no, we're going to
Let them
Natland
do
now.
as they please.
I do need for weapon. But to me, Natland almost kind of seemed like not exactly a restart to Genshin, but like a, how do you put it?
This realm is... If you ever have any...
What am I doing? How useful is Mulani's surfing mechanic and exploration? It's decent, I guess. To be honest, I think the Natland characters' explorations are fun, but I would be careful about relying on them for stuff, because like they run out very quickly, right? So like with Mulani's, see, as you could see on the side, she has that timer there. She runs out of the timer really quickly on land. Okay, so she runs out really quickly on land. However, if you take her to the water, second. Oops. And I forgot to change over to Genshin. Change my category here. There you go. So like if we go over here, One thing is I noticed is that if she is swimming herself, she cannot access her surfing mechanics, so she can't climb up on her surfboard while she's swimming in the water. However,
Carving waves.
her timer does go down a lot slower when she's in the water. Once the timer runs out, we will end up starting to hit that little Philozen, basically Natlin lava meter down the bottom. It'll basically start to burn. And then once that's out, you are basically done. Okay, you will fall into the water. You will still have all your stamina at least, though. So it's not like you're going to run out of that or time, and then she'll just immediately drown. So that's good. Honestly, I think Farina is better at the water exploration, if that's your big thing, because while Mulaney is fun to watch, Farina won't have a chance of dying because we're drowning. Because what happens is that with Farina, actually I can just pull her up to show you.
Witness my magnificence.
Right, with Farina, let me switch to her healing so she doesn't just attack anything that moves. You use this, and then she basically walks on the water, and her cooldown is actually faster than when this will wear out. So like you could watch this. Okay. So like for example, her cooldown's there, she's still walking. Okay. And then you do it again, and you just keep going. So yeah. This is a lot more reliable than Mulaney's. I mean, Mulaney is cool and everything, but I wouldn't necessarily say that she beats out Farina when it comes to water exploration. Although, to be honest, Farina is an Archon, so I think if I was to put it into like a tier list of walking on water exploration, it would probably be like Kokomi, Mulaney, and then Farina. The thing is also too with Mulaney is that you only get this little Natlin lava bar in Natland. She still can use her surfboard and her shark and stuff outside of Natland, but once she runs out of time, that's it. It's over. So
Order guide you. Gather.
Showering you with praise. Woohoo!
Transfixed.
I also find Mulaney a little bit hard to
What
use.
greater pleasure is there than the unexpected?
She is very, how to put it? She's kind of slippery when she moves around. It's kind of like, she slips here and she slips there, and it makes it nice for her movement when you're like doing the exploration and everything. But when you're trying to fight stuff, it can be a little bit of a however, Mulaney is a very cute character. She has a great personality. I mean, I pulled her just on the fact that of how cute she was and how much of a good person she was. So I don't really care about the whole thing. Ayaka, she can kind of walk on water. And when you run out of energy, you can use an ice platform. That's true. That's true. She can do that too. I think she's a little bit harder to use when it comes to that though, because the ice platform is not like a Kaya ice platform. It melts a little bit faster. So, yeah, little girl. I have to say, the baby Saurians are so cute. Oh yeah, for Mulani, yeah, they are really good. Pigs' Blondie, little white sister. I see. So Paimon is in fact a subspecies of flow current bird. Just boop them all ashore. Huh? Oop.
The show begins!
Like... Oh, gee. Over there, you.
May I present?
I think I'm supposed to be using the, be using this technically. I also kind of want to see what the little guy says. Because I found out you can actually talk to the, NPC Saurians if you are a Saurian. Oh, no. We're still in, story mode. Come on, you. Poor penguins. Last one. I don't think it's this one. Oh, I guess that was it. Look how cute! I know a lot of people have been mentioning about how they're like, oh, I hope they make plushies of these little guys. They're so adorable. Oh, and the chest. Yeah, one of the interesting things I've noticed too is in Natlin, when you open the chest, some of them end up having other stuff in it. Like, for example, I opened one that had like a whole bunch of like meat and milk and stuff in it, and then there was one that had a bunch of whatchamacallits, like a bunch of these Queen berries. Had those. There's also a bunch of one that had a bunch of brilliant chrysanthemums in it. So it's like they put more on there. But yeah, Mulani is really pretty. Oh no, does not want to talk to me. Look at the birds. Like, yes, we are sitting here eating our dinner like gentlemen. Either one of them wants to talk to me. I'm a Saurian. It is pretty cool though to swim around as a have been climbing the walls with Mulani or Kachina. The Geo lady. Well, Shilonen can climb the walls, but apparently she's, or I should say, let me reword that. Shilonen apparently can climb the walls, but that's from the beta, we haven't seen that yet, in the live stream. However, Kachina can climb the walls too, although her thing basically acts the same way as Mulani's. She is good on getting up the buildings, but the tall walls. But I think it's one of those points that the Natlan characters are going to be more useful in Natlan versus versus outside of Natlan. Although I do really hope that once we finish up the story with Natlan, with the Archon quest and stuff like that, they make it where it's like, oh, you were able to beat back the Abyss, and now the Wyob can extend itself out to the Natlans or the Natlan citizens who decide to leave Natlan to travel other places. Because we talked to the Pyro Archon, I don't know how you say her name exactly, but talked to her and basically asked, why haven't we seen any Natlan people outside of Natlan? And she basically says is that because the Natlan people are born under the protection of the Wyob, if they leave Natlan, the Wyob is so busy dealing with the Abyss, it can't really reach out to protect those people like it does in Natlan. There's like special stuff you have to go through if you want to do that, and it's also like a very rare thing to happen. Let's see what's but basically she said that if a person from Natlan leaves Natlan without the protection of the Wyob, they will suffer memory loss, and also behavioral problems, like emotional problems. So they kind of go a little wonky. Yeah, I did not realize that. I thought they were only kind of hanging out because it was like, oh, we need everybody to help build up the fire so that Natlan doesn't fall and stuff like that. That's what I was figuring was going on. However,
solidify.
Finding out that they basically will go crazy
Remember, help comes first.
if they leave is like, oh, yeah, that's a pretty good reason to not leave. Which again, I'm hoping that once we finish up the main quest, it'll be like, oh, the Wyob doesn't need to worry so much about the Abyss. Yay! We can now whatchamacallit, we'll now be able to see the Natlan characters outside of Natlan for like events and things. Because I could just imagine, I mean, the whole thing of it is actually even more dangerous than we thought. Because, like, Natlan is the nation of war, because they are at war with the Abyss. And they only have basically a year left before their complete destruction.
Let the world collide! The doctor will see.
And if Natlan is destroyed, that means that all the people of Natlan will basically die because the Wyob won't be around to protect them anymore. And since they're so connected to the Wyob, yeah. This is like Fontaine, but instead of everybody dissolving, they just go bonkers. Which is like, okay, that's good enough reason to help out. I know a lot of people I've seen have been mentioning of, it's nice though that we're finally getting to like really in with the whole fighting of the Abyss. Because like, we found out about our sibling, or the Abyss has been basically a thorn in our, or I say, the Abyss Order.
Stabilize.
Shower me with the...
Has been a thorn in our side since the very beginning when they were, come on, switch over, please. Has been a thorn in our side ever since the very beginning with Dvalin, because they were the ones that were corrupting Dvalin and making him believe that Venti and the rest of them didn't care about him anymore, and so on and so forth. However, except for a few instances here and there, we haven't really been able to, like, fight them so much. Like, we kind of, like, touch base on them every time we run into Dainsleif. But now, in this case, it's like, okay, no, we are going straight to fighting these guys.
Gather.
Strike a pose! Let my name echo in song!
Bow your head.
Which kind of just goes to show how serious things are getting. I mean, I think things have been getting serious ever since... It ranges on the on levels. Like for example, Mondstadt was in trouble with the dragon, but there was only just so much destruction that Dvalin could do, and on top of that, if things got really bad, Jean could have turned to the Fatui and been like, "We need your help," and the Fatui would have basically killed Dvalin, and then been like, "Okay, Mondstadt, you are, you know, in debt to us. So we're gonna kind of occupy you, I guess," and they would be, and Mondstadt would be in a second Fatui stronghold type of idea. Considering that I believe Mondstadt is right underneath Chesnaya.
Bow your head.
The doctor will see you.
So, but that was basically a thing that could have been easily solved. And then you have the whole thing with Leeway, where you had the whole Osile thing, and if the Traveler hadn't been there, Zhongli had said that he would pop back out with the Gnosis and would have resealed Osile, and that would have been that. Tartaglia has this whole plan where when he finds out that the Gnosis isn't in Zhongli's cadaver, that he planned on luring Rex Lapis out, and then after Rex Lapis / Zhongli was tired after the fight with Osile, Tartaglia would run in, try to fight him, and steal the Gnosis from him, which, I mean, I guess in... how to put it? I guess the thing... it's kind of funny, to be honest, because Zhongli had the contract with the Tsaritsa that if the Fatui helped him with kind of giving a challenge to Leeway so that he could safely retire and not have to worry about people, then he, of course, the whole thing is he gives his Gnosis to Segura, who gives it to the Tsaritsa, and so on and so forth. But they also have Tartaglia there, who is doing who doesn't know any of this, and is doing the plan B. So, assuming that the people of Liyue weren't strong enough, the Dewey were going to double cross Zhongli, which, I mean, considering that Zhongli ends up being like the strongest and the most military of the 7, I don't know if they actually were going to be able to do that. I mean, all they would have done is basically make Zhongli mad. There's a small chance Signora may get resurrected. Maybe. I know in the very beginning, ever since she got fried by A, people were talking about the whole point of, oh, Natlin is the land of resurrection, Signora might get resurrected. However, now that we kind of know what's going on with Natlin and how the resurrection actually quote-unquote works, I don't really know if it's viable anymore. Because Natlin isn't just the, oh, anybody can be resurrected. It ends up being a, no, you have to have been in the group that went to the Night Kingdom, and then your group, at least one person from your group has to get back alive, or the rest of you will not be resurrected. Also, there's the whole thing with the ancient name stuff.
If you never test the limits, how can anyone know where the boundaries of these laws are?
So, I mean, unless Capitano's whole plan is like, oh, I will rewrite the rules of Natland, and then he can rewrite it so that it will work on, the resurrection will work on anybody. Well, the thing is, it's not even just, oh, too much. Oh my god, I gotta fight. It's not even for Signor, it's not even that, oh, too much time has passed. It's one of those, she's not a Natland, she's not from Natland. She's, if anything, she's from Mondstadt, and so it wouldn't have worked on her anyway. Because apparently, like, what was it? I think when we sign up for where we try to sign up for the competition, the lady basically tells us, no, you can't, because, because one, only people from Natland will actually be able to gather the fire to help keep the sacred flame burning. And so if too many outsiders come in and try to compete, it won't, basically the tournament won't do what it's supposed to. And then she also says that, oh yeah, if you're an outsider and you die in the night kingdom, you won't get resurrected. So when our group went in to try and save the one character, which I won't spoil it for you if you haven't seen it, if we died there, we would stay dead. Apparently. So, not exactly a good thing. To be honest, Natland to me feels very much we get there, and every time we turn around, it's no, you can't participate because you're an outsider. No, you can't do this because you're an outsider. You're an outsider. And I'm like, okay, do you guys not want us here? It's starting to sound like they have their reasons and everything, but I'm kind of thinking to myself, it's starting to kind of sound a little bit like we're useless here. Oh, also too, this weapon is from the event. There's an event going on right now that you can get this from. It is, I'll show it to you in a second. Let's see. That. And of course I gotta go fight the Saurians. I don't like fighting the Saurians. They're too cute. I'm like, why do I have to fight you? But gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. But yeah, the event is this one. Okay, the Traces of Artistry event. And here it's here in the Painted Presence. So you basically go to this section Okay, and you basically do challenges. You take pictures of these rhinos. You unlock stuff. It's basically the we're helping you explore Natland type of event. So you do these and you get points, and then the points will equal up, and then you'll be able to get this, and then also the refinement materials for it. Okay, so that's where you get that. So if you haven't done it, I suggest you do it now, because this thing is going to go away in like 11 days. So you want to make sure you do it.
Best I don't see you over in the west, then.
Let's go fight some Saurians. First, let me... Oh yeah, they actually put the weapon there. Which I guess makes sense, because I mean, there's so much stuff going on in this patch. They don't have a quote unquote main event. Because we had like 2 Archon quests, 2 story quests, reputation quests, world quests, bunch of stuff. So yeah, but yeah, you get the weapon from there. And then in order to
Is the ability to
in order to raise it up, you need the mirrors, and you need these guys from these secret source automaton hunter seeker guys, and you need fangs from the Saurians, which you
When on the road,
you can't get the fangs from the Saurians if you just basically possess them. You have to fight them. So, which you can find the Saurians wandering around in the wild. It might personally, I find it nicer to be like, come fight these people, but it's kind of interesting because they don't argue you immediately. You know, they'll like watch you and be like, are you a threat? Are you coming closer? And if you do, look,
What are you up to?
the volcano's erupting. Yeah, we can't get to the volcano yet, but it does erupt every once in a while. So, honestly, I find it harder kind of to fight these people, even though I need their whistles and the drops and stuff, because I'm like,
Boats are made for transport.
yeah, there we go. Now they're arguing me.
Gather!
Strike a pose!
It's one of those things of if you need a reason.
mind the sound.
Settle down!
This was new.
Calm down, you guys. Calm down. It's not like if you need a reason to fight the people, you just kind of get close enough until they argue you, and then you're like, okay, now it's self-defense. I could be killing these Pokemon. Yeah, you do use them for what was it? It's yeah, use them for weapons. I know, and let me see. Okay, yeah, I know at least you use them for some weapons. I don't know if they double for character ascension. I do know that they are at least for weapons. I guess the one positive thing about it is the fact that it's like, okay, these guys are gonna respawn tomorrow. Then I'm not taking them out permanently.
This is order. Solidify.
Also, when the babies join the fight, I'm like, I don't want
Mind
the
the side
babies.
effects.
To be honest, this is kind of the same way I felt with the underwater animals in Fontaine, where like you'd have like the cute little crabs and the cute little seahorses and the cute little blubber seals and stuff, and I'm like, I know I need the drops, but why do I have to fight them? I found it kind of ironic too, because in Fontaine they have this whole setup where it's like, oh yeah, the mechanical doodad things have gone crazy, and so now they're hurting the environment and so on. And I'm like, okay, great. So we're gonna go fight them, and we're going to get rid of them, and then use the drops for all the characters, right? Right? And they're like, well, Emily, the last character we released for Fontaine, uses the gears for those things. But, yeah, everybody else, you gotta go fight the already possibly, endangered animals in the ocean. Like, great. Thanks a lot.
Stabilize.
A bitter pill to swallow.
Settle down.
Don't worry, the Pokemon get resurrected. That's true. Yeah, at least I know a lot of people call these guys Pokemon, but I mean, I'm a Pokemon fan. I don't necessarily see it. It's not the same mechanic. If anything, it's more like Digimon. You know, that like you have the Digimon and the or I guess backtrack a bit. It's like you have the Digidestins, okay, so who are the main characters, and then each Digidestin gets their Pokemon. So just like how, every person in Natlan gets their, Saurian companion, and they only get one. So it's not like they go around catching them in Pokeballs or anything. They only get one. And then for you as a character, you can meld with the Saurians, so which is very similar to the whole Digi evolution they started doing, I think in like the 3rd season, where it was it wasn't just your Digimon evolving, you could also evolve with the Digimon to help them. So you have like that whole aspect.
Bow your head.
It is. I was like, what is argling me? Anyway, so to be honest, they do seem more Digimon to me than Pokemon. Now, if you could collect a whole bunch of them, then I would say, yeah, they're definitely Pokemon.
Silence!
Mind the side effects.
Strike a pose!
I guess it's like people just kind of did the whole Pokemon thing because it was like, oh, the Saurians basically look like they are of the different elements, and it's like, ooh, here's 3 of them: a water one, a grass one, and a rock / ground one, and you can pick the one you want type of vibe to it. Oh, sorry, dude. I thought you were a mob. Fish. The one good thing, though, I guess, with these guys is that after you defeat them, that you still have access to this piece, so you can turn into them. So if it's sort of like a, oh, you're here and you were going to do a puzzle, but it attacked you, and so you had to fight it, and then you're like, wait a minute, now I can't do the puzzle because I killed it. Whoops. It's like you don't have that to worry about that. In fact, you know, at some point, it's almost better off probably to find one. Fight it to get the drops, and then use its ability. Considering that when you leave it, it's basically non-existent again. It's kind of funny. I was thinking about when I was just fighting and I had Baizu up. You know, it's like, oh, Baizu is a healer and stuff, and he's fighting the mobs and things like that. Siegeween, they pushed so hard during Siegeween's stuff that, oh, Siegeween is healing the enemies, that she's like, oh, just, you know, just hold still and it'll only be a little prick and you'll feel so much better. And they even have like some of the enemies
Seems like an emergency.
that she was fighting actually feel better after she defeated them, and they pushed that so hard.
A bitter pill to swallow.
But of course, in reality, she's actually hurting
Shang, behave.
the enemies, of course. So it's sort of like, yeah, she thinks she's healing them, but not exactly. The other thing too is I'm kind of. This is like the drama that's happening right now. Yeah. And I don't know what's going to happen, but basically, if you guys want to know what the drama is, we have some voice actor drama. That I heard the other day that what happened was that it's hard. We don't really know the official reason, and I don't know if we ever will, because MiHoYo isn't that upfront about this thing happened, so we had to replace the voice of characters. Because, like, for example, like the other day, Argenti's voice actor got changed, and nobody told us why. It was like, there was a nice pass-off between the old voice actor and the new voice actor, but, like, both voice actors were okay, and so it wasn't like the one guy was, like, leaving because, you know, he did something or he was sick or anything. It was just, oh no, we're just changing it. A lot of people assumed it had to do with, something with recording studios or whatever. Like, if the first guy was attached to a recording studio that MiHoYo didn't want to use anymore, so they had to basically not able to use the guy anymore. But now we're having an issue with this lady, okay, who voices Lynette, and apparently not really anything against herself. Apparently, from what I heard, it's kind of weird, because a lot of people were, like, assuming it had to do with the strike that's going on right now, the voice actor strike. But the thing is, Alejandro Saab is part of that strike, and, I mean, he is, like, fully vocal on the voice actor strike for the SAG thing. And he's fine, right? He's not lost any of his jobs or anything like that. He just wants better, you know, better stuff for voice actors, and them not using AI and replacing voice actors altogether, which I totally agree with. You should not be replacing people with AI just to try and think you're saving yourself a few bucks when you're actually putting out really bad material. But apparently, from what I've heard about with the drama, what happened was that the lady who voices Lynette also was or is voicing a character named Fei Xiao in Honkai Star Rail. Well,
Stabilize.
Mind the side effects.
Silence.
and so she's voicing this character. And to put it in context, Fei Xiao is a Chinese, is a character from the Zansho Yao Qing. So basically, fantasy China in spaceship. And what happened was that someone took Fei Xiao's official artwork and they made the character have dark skin. Okay. Well, I don't know whether unlock that. I don't know whether or not the voice actress reposted it, or she posted it on her own, or if it was because she herself is a black lady and she was voicing Fei Xiao. But something happened and the Chinese player base apparently went ballistic and they started harassing her, apparently. I don't know how true this is. It is hard to tell if anything like that has if anything like that happened, because of the fact that I think it was like yesterday or the day before, the VA completely deleted all her social media accounts. They're just gone. So we can't really tell.
All right, let's finish this fast.
A bitter pill to swallow.
Bow your head.
What's going on with that whole thing. I'm assuming that she got rid of her social media because she was being harassed that badly, which totally told power to her, because I mean nobody wants to be harassed.
Hopefully the excitement of opening a treasure chest,
especially online, because it's a giant, can of worms and everything. But the thing is, she deleted her social media, and then Fei Xiao wasn't being voiced by her. in the most recent stuff. Basically what happened was we had the 2.5 live stream, and while in all the other languages got the Fei Xiao chibi with the Fei Xiao voice actors, English, we did not get Fei Xiao. Instead, they went and they put Guanifin in there, and Guanifin was basically representing Fei Xiao because Fei Xiao was apparently busy. So that was the first kind of like red flag. Then Fei Xiao's one of her animations came out, and even on the American or the English YouTube channel, it's in Chinese or it's in Japanese. In Japanese. And so people were like, okay, this is getting really weird. Also, the lady's, the VA, the English VA's name is not on, is not listed as Fei Xiao's voice actor in those.
The life of an adventurer
And then just this morning, they had the, keeping up with this whole thing. And like where it basically talked about Fei Xiao and all the stuff that she does. Well, they had that in Japanese too. Her voice actor didn't even speak during any of that. It was Albert and Zhao Cho, but they had that one in Japanese too. So it's kind of like, what's going on over there? Like, we don't know what is happening, whether or not it's like maybe Mihoyo was just told her to like lay low for a while and everything will blow over. Because the, kind of rabid fans will chill out or something. Or if they just, or if she decided that, okay, I'm not going to deal with this harassment and she left. So now they have to get a new voice actor for Fei Xiao. Or if Mihoyo just kind of were like, okay, we don't want to deal with this harassment stuff, so we're just going to fire you. I don't know. Hopefully it's not the last one, because that's really not good. Because that is you are punishing the victim instead of, standing up for them in a harassment case. But I don't think that's what's the truth. If anything, it's either okay, just lay low for a while until the rabid fans calm down.
A bitter pill to swallow.
Or she just decided, okay, I'm not going to deal with this, and she walked away. I don't know what's going to happen with Lynette's voice.
Don't forget to wash your hands. Goodness knows where these things have been.
We probably won't run into her for a while, to be honest, with Lynette, so we probably won't find out about any of that until later if this is a whole voice actor change. I mean, we've been going through a lot of those in the English community, to be honest. Which is a really big shame. I mean,
Bow your head.
what was it?
Silence.
I mean, some of the voice acting changes are for good reasons, and others are like, I have no idea what's happening. Or whalebone. I think it's like Genshin. Genshin doesn't have it as bad, I guess. I think the only voice we've had changes Tignari's, for good reason. The guy with the creepo. I mean, there's really no denying that, unfortunately. But Honkai Star Rail has been having a really big issue because apparently, let's see, we had Argenti's voice get changed for a reason we still don't know what it was. We had Wawa's voice actor get changed because apparently she supported the Hoyoverse boycott, which is obviously not a good thing to do if you are being employed by people. And so she's gone, and Wawa has a new voice actor. Moza was going to be voiced by a guy who also has issues and all that worrisome stuff, and so he got changed. And now we have the whole thing with Fei Xiao, and I have no idea what's going on with that. Like I said, she might just be laying, just kind of like
Another chance to learn from you.
she might just be kind of like, okay, just lay low until everybody calms down and it blows over. She could have just been like, I'm not dealing with this baloney, and left the company. Who knows? And the thing is, we might never know. I mean, I guess it's like if the voice actor changes, then we know that, okay, she's gone. And if it doesn't, then it's kind of like, okay, it's just more of a lay low type of thing. But we'll have to see. I mean, I guess the only positive is that since characters like Moza and Fei Xiao are pretty new, we haven't really had time to get used to the voices. In that case, it's like it's easier to change them over since we're not used to them. I mean, you will of course have voices that fit characters better than or certain voices that'll fit better to characters than other voices and stuff, and they're all decent voices. But of course, it always ends up being this kind of worry of like, gonna fit, right? Like I know when Argenti's voice got changed, and I'm on Argenti main, so it was kind of a shocker because it just sort of, how do I put it? Actually, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Anyway, so who knows? But basically what happened with the whole Argenti thing
I see
was
the
that
value in-
he was playing a part in Pentaconi, and his lines kept getting muted. And they kept just saying, like, oh, it's just a bug, and stuff like that. And at first,
Solidify.
it was like, okay, you know, it was a bug, no big deal. But then it happened in the next patch, too. And we started being like, yeah, I don't think it was a bug. Because the next thing we know,
Splendid!
his voice actor has been changed.
Trinkets for
And
me.
everybody's like, why was the voice actor? I mean, I think even originally it was, you know, why is he being muted? Why is he the only one muted? This isn't a bug, you know, per se. Is his voice actor okay? What's going on? You know, thinking maybe he got sick and stuff like that.
This is order.
How brilliant!
And
Settle down.
and then of course came the typical, like, you know, people comparing the different voices, people being why was the voice actor changed, what's going on, yada yada. And like I said, we never actually figured it out. Neither the voice actor said why, so it's basically, I guess, assumed that there was just something going on with the recording studio and they couldn't use the first VA's stuff anymore. They had a very nice little thing on Twitter though, where the two guys basically did a sort of trade-off where the first VA was or I think it was how'd it go? The second VA basically said about how he was going to do his best to do a good job on, you know, voicing Argenti, and that he was honored to
All right, let's finish this
well.
fast.
you know, he was honored to being able to take the role and stuff like that. And then the first VA basically wrote to him and replied and said that he whatchamacallit,
Gather.
he supports him and stuff like that. And then once that happened, a lot of people were kind of like, okay, you know, the new voice is different. It's kind of changed the way they view the character a little bit, but they're willing to, you know, look into it and look at the more positive aspects of it.
Let the record show that I verbally
Instead of
consent
being
to
like,
relinquishing
oh,
these
it
items
was
into
not,
your
you know,
possession.
it's not like the old one, it doesn't have this and this and this. Instead they were like, well, it has this, this, and this. That's a completely new, you know, a new flavor to the voice. So that was good. It was one of those all kind of all's well that ends well type of idea. Still very confused about why it changed, but he turned out all right at the end. Excuse me. Alright. Gold mirrors, 18 of these and 12 of those. Probably not gonna finish it up today. But it's still pretty high, so at least that's good. Let's see. 4 gold mirrors at least. We're gonna need to fight more of these guys. Two more of these and a bunch of these. So, but the good thing is that we got the talent or the weapon ascension material done. So whenever we go fight some mobs and get these, we can just raise this up to the last level instead of having to have it be timed. So that's good.
Water comes in many flavors.
I'll be right back, you guys. Hi guys, I'm back. I'm going to wrap up the stream right now because I realize it is time for dinner, and I do not want to be eating and making sounds on you guys. So thank you so much for coming. If you are watching this on YouTube, I stream on Twitch. I'm thinking like maybe starting every Wednesday and Sunday, maybe. I haven't made up my mind perfectly, but I will be trying to stream at least a little bit. So if you'd like to come and watch, please do so. If you want to watch this again or look at parts of it, it'll be uploaded onto YouTube and so on. So please like and subscribe and follow and all that good stuff. And I will see you again soon. Oh, I also have a Twitter too, if anybody wants to follow that. I try to post stuff about what I'm going to be doing on there as well. So there you go. So I will see you guys later. Bye. And let's see. Can we finish up with a dance? The Macarena, maybe. Macarena. Macarena. Hey, Macarena. Hey. All right, I'll see you later. Bye. Thank you for coming.